she declared in very clear terms that she did not want to go to college. She didn't want to go to college at home here in the state of Washington. She wanted a different experience and a different life. At that young age, she set her sights on going to college on the East Coast, right? And when she was ready, she applied to and was accepted at a number of East Coast colleges. Without knowing a soul, she moved all the way across the country to, the other side, right? And made a whole new life for herself. Not once or twice, but several times she's done this in the past decade. When I think about other parts of my family, there's so many stories about beginning again. From the stories that came through those who remember slavery, and beginning again in this country, to stories from my elders, from my great-grandparents, of beginning again in new surroundings after slavery. Then there are the stories of my immediate family being part of the great migration of African Americans leaving the South in droves to begin again in the North. And like my daughter, I also left home to attend college. I moved from Michigan to California to attend a university with no network to speak of, no prospects for work, and yet I was able to begin again. Not once, not twice, but many, many times. What I know is that when you want to begin again, one of the most helpful things you can do is to have a vision for what's possible. Okay? Now, I didn't say you had to have a goal or a plan. I said you have to have a vision for what's possible. And along with your vision, you must have one sure thing, and that one sure thing is commitment. Commitment. Now, William H. Murray is a Scottish mountaineer and writer, and he says this about commitment. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. I'm going to repeat that because most people don't hear what he's saying. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. He goes on to say, concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. Now, all sorts of things occur to help one that could never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from that decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance which no man, or woman for that matter, could have dreamed would have come his way. He goes on to say, I have learned a deep respect for one of Goethe's couplets. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Right? So in other words, action plus commitment equals magic and genius. Action plus commitment equals magic and genius. Now, to some people, Murray's words just seem like a stream of lovely, wonderful, inspirational words, don't they? You know, he was writing over 100 years ago, and, we say, well, what does he know, right? Well, I can tell you one thing. He knows what he's talking about. When you begin, when you commit, providence moves too. And it seems as if it's all of a sudden that the universe starts to cooperate with you. But you know what? It's not all of a sudden. It seems all of a sudden, but it isn't. The reason that it seems all of a sudden is because we have begun, right? We've taken that first step. We've committed. And when we do, when we begin, when we commit, the universe, God, providence, moves too. But know this, providence will only cooperate with you when you've proven that you really mean it. If you still doubt in some way, if you only act some of the time, or if you're working on plan A and plan B at the same time because you're afraid that plan A will fail, guess what? Success might very well slip through your fingers. It will just vaporize. It will escape you. Once you really commit, once you say goodbye to what's behind you and you really go for it, magic begins to happen. People begin to come into your life. Circumstances start to shift. Resources start to come to you that you couldn't even possibly imagine before you took that first step. So, what are you waiting for? Go for it. Jump. Do it now. Stop procrastinating. Begin. Begin today. Now, there's so many folks out there who know the value of going for it, who know the benefit of commitment. But for whatever reason, fear stops them. Fear stops them from following through. Sometimes the fear is so strong, so powerful, it can actually stop you cold. It can stop you dead in your tracks, so you don't even begin. You don't even begin. Fear. What is fear? I like to think of fear as being false expectations appearing real. False expectations appearing real. On my next show, I'll share an amazing story of a young woman who did not let fear or anything else stop her in her tracks. This young woman, who lived for years with drug-addicted parents, also lived with the understanding that you can begin again. She also lived with a burning desire to make a difference in her own life so that she could make a difference in the lives of others. She understood that you can begin again, and she also understood the power of having a dream, a vision with possibility. Next week, I'll share with you her incredible story, the power of having a vision, the power of knowing who you are and who you want to be. So please join me. Tune in to next week's show. I'll be right here on Talk Network Radio. Now, if you missed last week's show or any part of this week's broadcast, you can listen to the recording at your own convenience. You can even listen to it on the go. How about that? Check us out at www.talknetworkradio.com/legacy living. That's www.talknetworkradio.com/legacy living. That's LEGACYLIVING, all smushed together like one word. Okay? Great. Now, before I close today, I want to thank each of you for tuning in to today's show, for allowing me to share a bit of my journey about what legacy living is, not just living and learning, but living and learning and serving so that you make a difference in your own life and in the lives of others. It's all about being on purpose every single day, 365, 24/7. Legacy living is one of the many ways to make your life count. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Burgess, and this has been Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. Please join me again next week right here on Talk Network Radio for another show of Legacy Living. We're here again next Wednesday, 10 a.m., Talk Network Radio right here. So don't just count the days in your life. Make the days in your life count. That's what legacy living is all about. Have a fantastic day, and remember, make the days of your life count. God bless. That's our show today. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Burgess, and I hope you'll join me again next week. Until then, don't just count the days in your life. Make the days in your life count. That's what legacy living, Make Your Life Count, is all about. Here's to you. Have a fantastic day. Be sure to make it a yes kind of day. And remember, celebrate. Celebrate the music, the sweet music of your life. Make the days of your life count.